As a trainer, it's really easy for me to assume people know certain things, that certain things are obvious, but my clients prove to me every day, especially new clients, that that is not the case. So here are 5 fitness basics I thought everyone knew, but probably don't. The first is that people should eat a high protein diet every day. So a lot of clients tell me that they didn't realize that they should be consuming like a protein shake or focusing on protein every single day. They assume that they only have to do that the days they train. And since I train people in person, most clients train 2 days per week. So they would only be prioritizing protein, drinking a protein shake 2 days per week, and that is not nearly enough. You need to be focusing on protein every day, preferably adding a protein shake every day, just because it makes it easier to consume a high protein diet with a protein shake, especially for women. But that is something that I thought was obvious, but clearly is not. The second thing is that eating clean doesn't always equate to fat loss. Let me add that. Doesn't always equate to fat loss. Now it can. If you are primarily eating a highly processed, like junk food based diet, yes, eating cleaner foods will probably reduce your caloric intake. But I live in New York, and a lot of people, in the demographic of people that I train, do eat pretty clean, right? They're eating vegetables with every meal. Maybe they're having like a salad for lunch. They're not eating a super high carb diet, whatever that looks like. It looks different to certain people, but for the most part, my clients are not eating highly processed junk foods for most of their meals, and they wonder why they're not losing weight. They assume, well, I eat really clean. Why am I not losing weight? You're not losing weight because you're eating too many calories. And just because you're eating clean doesn't mean that you can't be eating too many calories. So focus on reducing your energy intake, entering into a calorie deficit so that you can lose weight. And just because you're eating clean doesn't mean that you're eating like enough calories to be in a calorie deficit, or too few calories essentially to be in a calorie deficit. The third thing is running isn't the only form of cardio. I know it's easy to think, run clubs are super popular. Running is not the only form of cardio. You can cycle, you can play tennis, you can play pickleball, you can swim, you can play basketball. There's a bunch of different aerobic activities you can do that isn't just running. And I know running oftentimes seems very intimidating for people, which is why they think they don't like cardio. You just don't like running, which is perfectly fine. There are other forms of cardio that you can do. The fourth thing is that, what was the fourth thing? Oh, that training 2 days per week is enough for health, but not for body composition changes. Right. So, like I said, most of my clients come in to see me at least usually 2 days per week. And that is great for your health. You're going to increase your bone density. You're going to feel better. Your mood's going to improve. Your sleep's going to improve. All the physiological things. But the one thing that won't happen the way you might expect, or at least in the speed that you might expect, is body composition changes and muscle building. You should be training at least 4 days per week if your goal is to change your body composition, body recomposition, or build muscle. 2 days per week is just not going to cut it. And I thought that was obvious, but clearly it's not. That seems to be the running theme. That's the entire point of the video. And the final thing is that progressive overload is the only way to get stronger. That is the only way to get stronger. In terms of muscle, I'm of the belief that muscle is a byproduct of strength. So if you focus on progressively overloading, if you focus on getting stronger, you will build muscle, assuming that your diet has been adjusted for that goal. But if you are not progressively overloading in the gym, you're not tracking your workouts, you're not increasing the weight, increasing the reps, increasing the volume in some way via tempo, reps, sets, rest periods, etc., etc., etc. There's many ways to progressively overload. If you are not doing that, you are wasting your time and you are not getting stronger. Sorry, that cut out. You were receiving the short-term benefits of going to the gym and exercising and moving your body, but in terms of strength gains, muscle building, it's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So make sure you are progressively overloading. Make sure you're tracking your workouts. Make sure if your goal is body recomposition or you have some sort of body composition goal, make sure you are training, strength training, more than 2 days per week, preferably 4 at the minimum. Running isn't the only form of cardio, so you need to be doing at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity aerobic training per week. Just because you don't like running doesn't mean you can't do that. You can play a sport, you can cycle, you can swim. There's a plethora of things that you can do. You can jump rope. Eating clean doesn't automatically mean that you are in a calorie deficit. In a calorie deficit, I'm going to put that here. Calorie deficit is absolutely required to lose body fat, to lose weight. And the final thing, or the first thing, was that you need to be eating a high protein diet every day, not just the days you strength train. I hope this video proved helpful, and I will see you in the next one. If you're interested in coaching, you can find the information below. I also have programs that I sell online, and again, that information is below. I will see you in the next one.